never realised that fucking black magic was real.
Right.
No, we told me it's a fucking Hollywood way of making money.
People thought you were like into black magic and
We started to get
evil.
invites to fucking midnight at the cemetery with black magic. What the fuck's this?
And this is why I'm never doing lives again after this. And staying though with the editing stuff because shit fucks up all the time. And I fuck up all the time. I gotta take accountability. But with these Ozzy Talks, as people who know who've been watching for a while, they're just random over the weekend. And I kept like changing the time. But if I go on straight from YouTube and not this StreamYard service, I can't pull up your comments, and it's just I could say your comments obviously, but I like pulling up your comments, talking with these, all that. Anyway, welcome to Ozzy Osbourne, Into the Void, Ozzy Osbourne tribute. Usually, like if I put up though an Ozzy Talk live thing that we usually do, and I can't make it for some reason or whatnot, I don't continue until I'll just go back on next weekend because they're not a scheduled show like me and Gina's. Like me and Gina's is every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and that is like the concrete time for the weekly live streams. This is what I usually do over the weekend at nighttime. And excuse me. And but this topic I had to come back during the week and address because usually the show's not till Wednesday, and that's why I'm on though now. And I apologize for the time changes all those times, and just busy. I mean, we all have lives, right? Life don't wait. I'm trying to find my give me 1 second. Yeah, of course I lost it. No. I was looking for my coffee. Beautiful. All right. So, like always, let me know before we get started on this episode. Let me say some hellos. And I'm even shocked anyone's in here from all the time changes, but thank you very much. And that's why I pinned the comment up there. Gina, what's going on? See you Wednesday. You know it. Linda, what's up? I am new here, so what time are we starting? 8:05. And normally, that doesn't happen though. I mean, we always have technical difficulties on a live, like at the beginning, because they're lives, and we usually, if it's 8:05, that's why it's moved up to 8:05 because of that. But it doesn't even start till like 8:10. It's just lives are that's why I said when I just came on here now, like right after the sign, everything like that, bunch of pop-ups come up and all that stuff, and it's just a pain in the ass. I like to actually edit an episode, but I love though talking to the chat. So we'll still do the Ozzy Talks on the weekend. And don't forget, I drop links. Anyone can come in. I don't want to be the only one in here. Anyone can come in. This channel is for everyone. Where's my man, Jersey Dev? There he is. There's a man I'd love to sit down with. Fucking hysterical. What's up, Jers? Not too far from me either, my man. Yeah, Linda's still here. What's going on, Linda? Thanks for hanging around and welcome to the chat. We love having new people jump in, and anyone out there, come on in. And also what this channel does for anyone who's new is, let's say, for example, like Pat, he's in an Ozzy tribute band, and he wanted to and I wanted him to over Christmas they did a live show, and I wanted it to stream. And I wasn't even on it. I didn't say blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't need to be the host all the time. So if anyone ever is interested in dropping a video or just, and don't forget the community, everyone could just, if you're subscribed, everyone could just post like up to 5 pictures and say a memory or whatever. Like Victrola, the queen of the community. Love their stories. Need to be an author, Victrola. But what was I gonna say? Hold on, that didn't pop up. So, but yeah, you could email though at Ozzy Osbourne tribute page at gmail.com. And again, hypothetical, let's say like, you wanted to talk about like Sabbath, Ozzy, any musicians that are connected to him, this or that. And we're going to talk about musicians who are connected to him tonight. And which brought back something about the memories and not memories, excuse me, about when the tape thing came out and all that. And just I want to, instead of like normal, with me and Gina do ours, we usually talk about the album for like 20 minutes, whatever, come back, jump in. And I don't miss a comment. I appreciate everyone who's watching. So, but I'm going to say some stuff and then I'm going to come back to the comments about that. And I have clips that I set up and all that good stuff. Gina, what's up? What's going on, Gina? Great to see you. There's my man, Matt. What's up, Matt? I was just talking about you yesterday. Never forget that trip from Jersey, my man. Appreciate you more than you ever know. Oh, the Ozzy last. I'll never know, Matt. I'll never get over you though in the corner being like, "Oh, it's cool if I come over." Like, I'm like, "Yeah, get the fuck over here, man." That's like one of the only things I remember because it was a fog, But absolutely, love you too, Gracie girl. Who do we got? Saludos de familia, family this grande de Chile. What's going on? We got Elvis and Dres Martinzano. I used to actually start being good at like Spanish, but I believe what he's saying though is hello, Nazi family. Grande, it's positive, and that's what I know. And I really, really, really want to learn Spanish so bad. And thank you for being here. Gracias, Senor Elvis. Yeah. Kilo, what's up, my man? Great to see you. Welcome, Elvis. Welcome. Yeah. So anyone could just jump in. So let me play some clips though. What happened though over the week, and it blew my mind a little bit. So if you guys been watching this channel for a little while, and I want to thank everyone again. We last week hit 7,000 subscribers, and it looks like this week like it's already going to hit 8,000 subscribers. So I just love it. And it has nothing like I always say to do with me. It just shows that it was like 6 million views. I just love, knowing that people are watching like Ozzy and watching the clips. It just shows the love for the man. And I absolutely love it. And as always, this will never be monetized. So I saw that this came out, the Missa tape, and from my perspective, when it came out, I was just like, they made a spectacle. Like, I mean, this was a big deal. And of course, yes, it is. It is, right? And but let me just play. Let me just set up let me set up the mood for what I'm going to talk about.
Was found by this man who met the heavy metal pioneer early in 1980. This was a few months after the singer had been fired from Black Sabbath, and he spent a few weeks rehearsing in Suffolk to try out something new.
I've got a tape somewhere. And my wife says, not in the house, I've searched everywhere. She said, I bet you I know where it is. It's in your workshop, in the attic, and there it was. I found it in this briefcase.
And you were sort of nervous about trying it?
Because as you can see, it's one of those, and if they do feel up to sometimes, and I haven't got a machine like this one, and I daren't play it, to be honest with you.
Taking a toll, it was a long shot.
See, that's him. That's him. Very bluesy.
So, not a lost master tape. Instead, a recording that captures a more relaxed time behind the scenes. This is Ozzy with the late Randy Rhoads and Bob Daisley, a make or break point in his career. They went on to recruit drummer Lee Kerslake and released the first album, Blizzard of Oz.
Well, as soon as I heard it, I thought, well, yes, that's us, and that's Ozzy's voice. I don't know what drummer that would have been on that tape, but it's definitely me and Randy and Ozzy. We knew straight away. As soon as we played together, we said, yep, it clicked, and we knew that it was going to work.
Experts say the tape is significant not so much for the music, but for what it represents.
It's an incredible artifact, I think. So, it's not a fully formed song. It's not a last master tape. It's not from the vault that's going to be, sold commercially for millions. But it captures a really significant moment in Ozzy Osbourne's life.
So you saw that, and yeah, no, absolutely, no, it absolutely does, without a doubt. But so I recently had Bob on the show again, and that interview is going to drop. What is the middle of the whiteboard? That interview will be dropping on Saturday. So, but let me just paint something, a little picture for you, because remember, a huge artifact, and keep that in your minds, right? And just made a big deal. I mean, it was a real big deal, and the tape is maybe 30 seconds, if that. I mean, I don't know if they played the whole thing out or whatnot, this or that. And then I'm just going to get to a couple of the other points, though. But let me just make sure I hit the right video here.
By Carl Orff, this piece called...
Wrong one.
There was a common saying, "Oh, you're off the rails."
Okay, so yeah. So remember what we just heard there, and this is then one of that gentleman who has that tape must have been one of the four. I believe it was 45. Lee Kerslake was the last drummer to audition, and record label, the Jet Records, are just pretty much make or break. Like, this is it. And then when Lee came, that's where the magic happened, the chemistry. So, but with all that said, listen.
There was a common saying, "Oh, you're off the rails," or "You're going off the rails," or whatever. So yeah. I thought, well, if you're going off the rails on a crazy train. So that's how that came about, and we began rehearsing it. I've got tapes of us writing that and putting it together, and there's one funny one where Ozzy, at the beginning of it, where he says, I'd written the lyrics by then, or at least some of them.
Yeah.
And he, at the beginning of the song, Ozzy says, "All aboard," that part. But in this tape that I've got in our rehearsal, you can hear him say, "All aboard, you cunt."
Oh, man, what I do for that version. Oh, that's great. Okay. So, with that said, there's 7 hours of tapes out there, as we all know. And it's someone though today though said something to me, real cool person who actually knows what they're talking about. And it's all these stages though, are putting this stuff up, and why is Bob cut out of the pictures and stuff like that. And it's just I don't know. One thing that I'll always say about Mr. Bob Daisley is he's a class act. And, I got to interview him the night, though, of my father's funeral and all that good stuff. And even without that, everything that it's saying, though, is the true, though. I mean, and it's just very unfortunate. It really is very unfortunate. And I'm not talking about Ozzy Osbourne right now, or Sharon, or anyone, though, like that. There's someone who is on my mind, though, that I'm not going to say or whatever, though, because I'm not going to go there and all that stuff. But it's I don't know. Maybe I just grew up in my mindset, I lived in a different bubble, because those 4 guys, to me, it was one of the best bands ever, rock bands ever, in my opinion. with those 2 albums, with the original lineup. So, but you have, it's almost laughable actually, like because like you have one of those members is, and it's so sad to say, R.I.P. to Randy, R.I.P. to Lee, R.I.P. to Ozzy. I mean, but we still have though one of those members though who's alive, and I see like Loudwire and like stuff like that, like sensationalizing. And I get it, you know, you got to get your content out there, whether this or that or whatever. But I just believe though, like, you know, and like what's like right is right, and we live in a crazy world where, and like this is going back to my bubble, and I'm sorry if this offends anyone, but I like we're just like live in this like crazy world though, like where people think because someone's related to this person or someone's related to that's great and all of that, but that's not the writing the music with the people and actually being there. And that's just a fact. So yeah, I just believe that but it's just a disservice to the fans, because, and you all know, if you all had those tapes, you'd listen to them in a heartbeat and love them. So don't give me that bullshit. Yeah, it's just like, so like when I saw that, I couldn't help but think of like, you know, this, and then someone brought up some fantastic points though to me, and I had to, you know, how could I do an episode about his last tape when there's last tapes, plural, up to 7 hours of, you know, Ozzy, Randy, Lee, and Bon. And I just don't, I don't know. I don't get it or whatever. I guess like a lot of people just like, you know, and I get it. There's just fans out there that are just like, you know, it's just Ozzy. And I guess maybe don't look at the musicians or whatever. But I mean, like, you got to, like, you know, all those fantastic, unbelievable songs, like that would not exist without one of those members not being around. And there's only one of those members still around. And you're going to fucking call yourself a music channel and fucking cut out Bob? Come on. Fucking ridiculous. But and maybe I'm just like this. I really want to hear those fucking tapes so bad though. But and who doesn't, right? But I just don't. I mean, how much money is enough? Is, you know? And I'm not talking about on his end at all. I'm just saying though, like, you know, how much money though do people really need, this or that? Like, I don't know, man. I just think that that's great. They found a last tape. I'm happy. But I won't be happy until the actual last tapes, Holy Grail tapes, don't come out. And, you know, because we got, like, you know, those tapes like Randy speaking at the seminar and him, you know, going over diary, just stuff like that. Like, so just imagine, like, I'm not just talking about the songs. I mean, like, you know, the tapes are them actually creating the song. Like, could you imagine, like, the creation process? But some people don't even like those scenes. They're like, what did I do? I put up a short last week. Victrola, you know this because you even chimed in on this too. Like, what? Everyone know, like in the comments in the shorts were just like, the lyrics are terrible. This is blah blah, and he's all he's doing is working out a vocal melody for Paranoid. And I mean, that story's been out there forever. Like how they were done, and the album's supposed to be called War Pigs, and that's why there's a pig on it. But yet then they changed it to Paranoid Pig, and then look at the song. But that song was supposed to be on there, and they had to do a song under 3 minutes, and they had like a few hours of studio time, and then they knocked it down. And so when I showed that clip of the isolated vocals of him just working out the melody, people like, you know, like, do you think it's like abracadabra, boom, Mr. Crowley's just boom, it's written. Like, you know, like, no, there's a process. It's like, you ever see an artist or like painting? They don't just, you know, throw a ball of paint on and the painting appears. They, you know, I love seeing that stuff. You know, I really do. And they would obviously, you know, with that much footage, though, with 7 hours of those, I'm sure, you know, they would cut it down into, you know, whatever they'd cut it down to or whatnot, though. But I just, yeah, that's the, you know, that's one thing. But I'll always be, you know, ashamed of that. They should definitely be out. And if I'm wrong, which I'm not, or if, you know, like, though, what I'm saying, then you're not, then even like if you're like, you know, even fans of like Ozzy and that music, I mean, you should want to though hear that stuff. I think I'm confusing these tapes with the one that first Sabbath manager released, Sharon. Yeah, Kilo, that one though that you're talking about was from Rick's, was it Jim? No, Jim. Can't think of his name. Jim Simpson, and no, that's a totally different situation where managers ripping off. That's not a fucking band member who created songs and wrote, like, you know, a lot. You know, that's just, you know, if you watch that Jericho podcast when Jake is sitting across from, you know, let me pull it up though real quick. That's a clip I should have had ready, but you know what, on this StreamYard, they only give you so much time to put up meaning so much file size and all that stuff though, so I reached the limit. But should have put that up. Why isn't this going on? Here we go. Give me a second. I know you can still session. Sorry that my mug's so close to the camera. Anyway, I hope everyone's having a good start of their week. And thank you though for being here. And for the first time here though, hit the subscribe button. And yeah. All right, what am I looking up again? Jerry. Yep. Hold on one second. Jakey Lee. Here we go. 1 second. Let me go to the timestamp. I'm gonna plug this for a second. All right, there you are. Sorry, there's so many windows up. All right. So right here, what I'm putting up is this is once I see it, I will name the exact podcast. And since this channel will never be monetized or whatever, like shouldn't get copyrighted or whatever though, but 1 second. All right, let me go back to that. Sorry, folks. This is the thing with the lives, you know. I'm like, usually it just cuts right to her, you know. Apologies.
Just kind of jumping in, there's so much to discuss, so much to talk about, but talk about that.
All right, this is you usually gonna do it when you live, subscribe to it. Then this is Chris Jericho's podcast. Talk is Jericho, Jakey Lee, the untold Ozzy Osbourne stories and near death shouting. And I just want you guys to check out a little bit of this though what Jake said, and it was fantastic seeing him at Back to the Beginning though. But here we go.
That gig, how did you feel playing it? And then how do you feel now knowing that Oz passed?
Sorry, I don't know why that fucking screen is there. Get the fuck out of there. I don't know if you guys could see that. Yeah, you could. Hold on.
Passed
there.
Such a short time afterwards. I mean, that's a big question, but
yeah, break it down.
Yeah.
Break it down. Well, it was a great week for me. It was like maybe one of the best weeks of my life. Because I came in there feeling kind of like a footnote, maybe even an almost forgotten footnote. Oh yeah, we'll throw him in there too. But everybody treated me so respectfully and encouragement and support from everybody, and it made me feel special.
but that do you feel? You mentioned you felt like a footnote. Is that how you kind of felt about your time in Ozzy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you feel that way?
When I say a word, it's
I'm
just
not
don't cut out.
much in documentaries and things about Ozzy or at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You know, not a photo.
Right.
So I felt like, as I said, like a footnote.
So were you pleasantly surprised when you got the call to be a part of the show?
Yeah. When Tom called, I didn't know why. I'd never met him before, but when he called me, he said, "I can't imagine doing this without you." I'm like, really? Cool, I'm in.
Yeah.
I mean, if for no other reason than just to be there for Black Sabbath all original final show, I mean, I'd do it just for that. I'd go tech for somebody.
I thought it was cool though that you were included. They included Rudy, who did a great job as well, having some of the the OGs, but not all of them. It wasn't like Tommy Aldridge wasn't there, et cetera. So you were
Bob Daisley,
yeah,
huge part of Ozzy's success.
Right. So to go there and be a part of it, and now when you arrived, you said you felt kind of a little bit footnotish. When did you start realizing that, like, okay, what am I playing? What songs am I going to do? Because they made a big deal that you were there, and it was a big deal that you were there. As an Ozzy fan, having Jake E. Lee there was like, you should be there.
Was it?
I think so.
Because I
so humble.
I had friends who said, "Yeah, man, it was a really big deal," and I'm like, "Was it?" I mean,
it was.
That's what a friend would tell me.
Well, we're friends, but I'm telling you also as a Ozzy, fan since I was 12 years old, it was like, that's awesome that Jake is there. Obviously Randy can't, Zach is there. You're the three kind of cornerstones of Ozzy's solo career. So I thought it was really cool that you were mentioned and that in the lineup of people that were there.
Yeah, it was fun. It was made it thrilling for me. But as I said, when I got there, I figured I'm still just, oh yeah, that's Jake. He was in the band once. Right.
Wow.
But the first rehearsal, which was the night after I arrived, at the first rehearsal, I actually got nervous, which I never do. Well, obviously I do. And decades. I just, it's not in my nature to get nervous. What's going to happen is going to happen. Worrying about it doesn't do anything. But watching Nuno and who was up before me? The musicians rehearsing their songs while I was standing there waiting for my turn, I started to get really nervous, which was weird. It was really weird. And Frank Bello was standing next to me, and he turns to me and he says, "I can't wait to watch you." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm really nervous." And he's like, "No, you're Jake E. Lee. You could go up there and fart and we'd applaud." That made me feel, oh, okay. That's all I have to do.
Right.
But Yeah. I was nervous, which, like as I said, a weird sensation for me. But once we started playing Ultimate Sin, it all kind of kicked in again, and it felt good.
It was cool too because Nuno was on stage with you, almost like to double you.
Yeah. I asked for that because I had a couple of months to prepare, but because of my wrist,
which we'll talk about,
I practiced those 2 songs for 4 months, I think, every day. Those are the only 2. I would say, okay, let's do this. Let's do that song. So because I needed to relearn my picking technique. I mean, we can get into that later, but I needed to relearn it. And I had picked Ultimate Sin because I knew that I could do that. Dun, dun, dun. Oh yeah, I can do that. And then, but I forgot how hard the solo is.
Yeah.
And I'm doing the solo.
Jakey Lee, man.
I'm doing the solo. And I'm like, oh shit. I don't know if I can pull this off.
Yeah.
Some days I'd pick the guitar up and yeah, I can do it. But then there'd be other days where where I sounded like Nikki Sixx playing bass. So I was a little bit worried about that. And I told Tom, and he said, well, Nuno's going to be there. I said, great. Can you have him learn the solo? And he says, I'll ask. And then I got a text from Nuno, and he was so cool. He said, I will learn your solo, as difficult as it's going to be. He says, I will learn it, but I'm not taking it from you. He said, why don't we both do the solo?
That's great.
And it could come across as twice as good. I said, yeah, what a bro thing to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that's how that came about. And I assumed he was going to play on Shot in the Dark also. But at rehearsal, he walked away. I'm like, wait a minute. I got no backup here. I got no other guitar player.
Yeah.
I looked at Scott Ian. I was like, are you playing this? He's like, I was like, shit. But that song's reasonably simple.
Not the same.
And yeah, I was able to play.
I go to the other part.
Where were you at the beginning? They were waiting for you to come on stage.
That whole
Calling Jake.
That whole thing. That was a bit. That was a setup.
Yeah, of course.
I didn't know about it. I was I had my guitar warming up in the dressing room. Then I came down to the stage area, and they said, "Okay, hold up, we're not ready for you." I'm like, "Okay, well, I need to tune the guitar. I think it's out of tune." They said, "No, you'll be able to go out there in a minute." I'm like, "Okay," and I'm sitting around waiting. I don't see anybody else in the band.
Right.
I'm like, no, I better make sure I'm in tune. And then all of a sudden the song's there with me.
Yeah.
And then Sharon came up. I saw Ozzy and he was surrounded. He was just engulfed with, if not him, who has my number. Yeah, and he texted and said that sorry that we didn't get to talk. He'd love to see me once he gets back to LA, if I can drive down there, and we could sit around for a couple hours and catch up. And I thought, yeah, that'd be awesome. And so I waited for them to get back to LA, and they never did.
How did you feel when you found out that Oz had passed?
In disbelief, as I'm sure most fans were. I was like, no, that's not right. This isn't right. And I kept checking and checking it. They all kept saying the same thing. And I was like, Ozzy doesn't die.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
He's been around since I first started listening to rock when I was 12. Black Sabbath, their first album came out. I was, he's been a part of my life since I was 12. And then a much bigger part, in my 20s. And he's just one of those, he can't die.
Yeah.
And so it was weird. It took me a while to actually, it still does. I'll walk by my refrigerator, which has a back to the beginning poster on it with a picture of Sabbath and Ozzy. I'll walk by and look at him like, no, he's dead. Dead is probably a bad word. He's
gone.
That's not a whole lot better.
He's not around right now.
he's passed on.
Yeah.
So he's still out there somewhere, you know, in the atmosphere, in the universe, I like to think.
Well, let's talk about you mentioned being a Sabbath fan and then end up working with Oz. You had the toughest gig out of all of Ozzy's guitar players.
Right here.
Randy's the original. Zach comes in to replace you. You have to replace
a legend.
And even at that time, one of the greatest guitar players who ever graced the face of the earth. And you're the next one. How did that come into play? Where you even got into a room to audition for the gig in the first place?
Dana Strum, who found Randy, Ozzy called him and said, I need another guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
So Dana checked out all the bands and saw what he thought were the 10 best guitar players. And we all went into a studio and he took our photo and then said, play something. I'm like, play what? He goes, whatever you want. So I just doodled for like a minute and a half or something. And I go, great. Oh, okay. And they sent all those to Sharon and Ozzy. And then he picked 3 out of that. Mitch Perry, me, not George.
George Lynch was one of the auditions.
But yeah, he from what I understand is that he was originally offered the gig before Randy.
Wow.
And George, told his management and they said, and it's not bad advice. They said, Ozzy's a drunk.
Yeah. At the time, yeah.
He got kicked out of his last band. He's going nowhere. Dokken is about to hit big. Right.
Right.
And so George declined. And then Randy got it. And it makes sense. George was one of the hotshot guitar players Yeah. I remember before I moved up from San Diego, I went up to Hollywood because, you had Eddie Van Halen, then you had Randy Rhoads. I'm like, oh my God, are they just all awesome guitar players up there?
Yeah.
So I went up there and checked them all out. And George was one of the ones I was told to always consider. He brought George out. And the 3 of us, my gear was in rough. It doesn't belong to her. And he said, well, Wendy said, to finally convince her, are you going to be the guy? And I kind of messed the songs up because Crazy Train and I Don't Know. You could swap parts in those two songs.
Yeah, good point.
You could put this part here and there. And I did because I just learned them the night before. So I was kind of screwing up and I went, all right, I'm not getting this. And then it looked like a janitor came up to sing. I was like, huh. All right, I guess I want to see what it sounds like with vocals, whatever. Because he had a shaved head, right? Well, it was like really short.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was Ozzy because he was wearing an orange jumpsuit. I figured it was like a janitor or something. He was just up there for props, whatever. And then he started singing. I was like, oh shit, that's Ozzy. Because I didn't know he cut his hair.
Right.
It was before the internet and all that shit.
Yeah.
And here it was Ozzy. And then after he just kind of like that, walked over to Sharon. And then Sharon asked, can you do a solo? And I went, you mean like Eruption or something like that? And she went, yeah, could you do that? I said, yeah, if I worked one out. I don't have anything prepared and I'm not going to do it because I already have the songs on, right? Which is more the attitude that later Sharon said, hey, you said you couldn't do it. You didn't want to embarrass yourself. And you said, no, I like that. Right? But so I'm packing my gear up and George walks in. He's like, hey, everybody. I went, hi. And I'm about to introduce myself because I hadn't met him before that. And then Ozzy came up and looks at me and goes, you want the gig? Huh? Do you want the gig? And I went, yeah. And he turned to George and said, he's got it. You don't. You're fired. Right?
Wow.
Which was brutal.
Oh, yeah. Awkward.
So, And then he walks away. I'm looking at George. My hand is still kind of out because I was going to. I said, I'm Jake. And he didn't shake my hand. He just looked,
I'm sure.
Yeah. But anyway, that's how I got the gig.
How did you approach Randy's solos? Because obviously you mentioned you knew how good he was, how creative he was. Did you play them note for note?
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Pretty close. I'd throw a flourish in if I felt like I would have done this. Not the whole solo. I wouldn't say I would have played the solo this way. I used his as a guide and played it, I'd say 85% the way he played it. But then if I felt like, ooh, I want to throw this in, then I would throw it in. But I remained as faithful as I could, I think, to his solos. Because, you know, Randy Rhoads.
Doesn't get any better, yeah. So what, did you go on the road first, or did you guys record the record first?
Oh, no, we went on the road. I think it was like a week after that. They said, okay, we have a tour opening for Whitesnake, I remember.
Oh, wow. It's interesting.
And Whitesnake, you know, they weren't in America. This is way before Still in the Night.
No, right.
I'd heard of them, but so we're opening for Whitesnake. I said, yeah, you got to get over here. And I didn't have a passport, so I had to go through all that stuff. But yeah, for a little bit, I was thinking, did I join the wrong Ozzy Osbourne band? Is there two? Yeah. Is there one that opens for this band called Whitesnake? So then I flew over there, and I think we rehearsed for 2 days. I had to learn a bunch of Sabbath because it was still touring off the Speak of the Devil album. And it couldn't bring my own gear. I didn't have my own guitar with me. That was coming over later. So it was all rented gear and a terrible sound. But we rehearsed for 2 days. And one day when during rehearsal, they went to the pub and I stayed behind to try and get a good sound out of, this crap that I had. And then I see this figure in the doorway leaned up against it like this. I'm looking and I go, "You're Lemmy," right? He doesn't say anything. He's just standing there all cool and shit. And he's got a bottle of vodka in his. And so I walk over all excited. Hi, my name's Jake. I just joined Ozzy. And he's still just standing like this, looking me up and down, and goes, "I don't know whether to fight you or right." and so I stopped and I look at him and said, "Well, whichever way it goes, can I take a hit off that vodka first?" And he smiled and said, "Oh, I like you." and so we got drunk together. But that was, first words out of Lemmy's mouth to me were those.
So what was that like for you as this kid? You're going on the road now, like you mentioned, opening for Whitesnake, but you're still in a huge rock and roll band with Ozzy, who's world renowned for being completely nuts and crazy.
Yeah, it was well, like I said, I don't get nervous. I didn't get nervous about that. It is what it is. The first gig was horrible. It was in Sweden, I think, maybe Finland, whatever. And I walked out, and the guy that had been assigned my guitar tech, where's whatever his name was, and they said, he quit.
Find a part to get to my point because I don't have all night. 1 second.
Boom, ba-dum, bum, bum. No guitar. Ozzy's singing, but he's looking at me like, "What's going on?" I said, "I don't know."
As much of a lunatic as we always heard.
Not. But yeah, he was. That was probably the wildest time.
The famous snorting ants story.
Anyway, yes, I was there. Exactly like that. I didn't. And then I had the chorus part.
All right. Let me get back to this real quick. That's what I should have cut up though into those clips though. But yeah, so going back to what I was saying though, like with the last whole tape. What's up, Vitrola? We're talking about this.
Was found by this man who met the heavy metal pioneer early in 1980. This was a few months after the singer had been fired from Black Sabbath, and he spent a few weeks rehearsing in Suffolk to try out something new.
I've got a tape somewhere. And my wife says, "Not in the house, I've searched everywhere." She said, "I bet you I know where it is. It's in your workshop, in the attic." And there it was. I found it in this briefcase.
And you were sort of nervous about trying it?
Because as you can see, it's one of those, and if they do feel up to sometimes, and I haven't got a machine like this one, and I daren't play it, to be honest with you.
Taken a toll, it was a long shot.
See, that's him. That's him. Very bluesy.
So, not a lost master tape. Instead, a recording that captures a more relaxed time behind the scenes. This is Ozzy with the late Randy Rhoads and Bob Daisley, a make or break point in his career. They went on to recruit drummer Lee Kerslake and released the first album, Blizzard of Oz.
Well, as soon as I heard it, I thought, well, yes, that's us, and that's Ozzy's voice. I don't know what drummer that would have been on that tape, but it's definitely me and Randy and Ozzy. We knew straight away. As soon as we played together, we said, yep, it clicked, and we knew that it was going to work.
Experts say the tape is significant not so much for the music, but for what it represents.
It's an incredible artifact, I think. So, it's not a fully formed song. It's not a last master tape. It's not from the vault that's going to be, sold commercially for millions. But it captures a really significant moment in Ozzy Osbourne's life.
So going back to the last day, that last whole tape situation, I was just talking about, you saw how big that was I think that was the museum in Birmingham that gentleman was talking to in the end. But there is like 7, I believe 7 to 8 hours tops of actual tapes with Bob, Randy, Lee, and Ozzy that are out there. So just imagine, after seeing that. And whoever this station is though too, Loaded Radio. I don't give a fuck what they say or whoever the fuck they are. They're like, why would they cut out fucking Bob there? That's so fucking weird. But anyway, Bob will be on Saturday at 11 a.m. I believe. And I'll drop that though on the exact time on Wednesday. And because like I said, and well, Victrola, you just came in, and Victrola, I brought you up earlier saying I love how, remember when I put up the Black Sabbath behind the scenes, Ozzy finding like the vocal melody, and how people though were just like, oh, this whatever. Like I was like, what the fuck? Like you think they just, and like you just were like, yeah, and you're like, I love this shit behind the scenes, and then you were the same way with the Crazy Babies interview from No Rest of the Wicked, the stakes, and then the kids, all that stuff, the video. So yeah, like even though this is tape and stuff like that, I mean the significance that was that the museum was talking about. I mean, just imagine the 7 to 8 hours though that he has, and I mean now that tape that right there is like what, maybe a half hour, excuse me, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and just like what he explains here is great. And this is all aboard 6 seconds of 7 hours.
There was a common saying, "Oh, you're off the rails," or "You're going off the rails," or whatever. So I thought, well, if you're going off the rails on a crazy train, so that's how that came about, and we began rehearsing it. I've got tapes of us writing that and putting it together, and there's one funny one where Ozzy at the beginning of it, where he says, I'd written the lyrics by then, or at least some of them.
Yeah.
And he, at the beginning of the song, Ozzy says, "All aboard," that part. But in this tape that I've got in our rehearsal, you can hear him say, "All aboard, you cunts."
Oh man, what I do for that version. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and what's that? 7, maybe 10 seconds of of them like creating, and then and Lee, Randy, Ozzy, like, they're out there. They're out there. Just would be nice to to get them out there. But like I said on Saturday, Mr. Bob Daisley will be back on 11 a.m. And this time, the last time was right after my father's funeral, because my father, right before he passed, that's like when I booked Bob, and he was like, "Yeah, fucking nice," like because he knows who he knew who he was and stuff, and so we're at the like dinner afterwards and stuff like that, and I'm like, "Oh no, I'm gonna fucking do it this or that," so it was just like I was like in a manic state, like almost in a way, and like, at times, like just talking out, like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And he's saying stuff like for instance, though, that I know, and I have to remember, like, it's like when I'm interviewing someone, like, well, dude, maybe there's some fucking things that other people don't know. Shut the fuck up. So this next one, I shut it the fuck up. Just so you know. So I hope you enjoy it, and I'll start dropping clips of it this week. And don't forget, uh, this time moved around all over the place because these Ozzy talks. If anyone's new here, like you'll notice on the weekend on Friday, I might be born 12:30 at midnight. 11 Pat will come over too from Baltimore who sings in the Ozzy band, sings he is like Ozzy in the band, and then we'll just hang out and talk about whatever, music, albums. We'll play some of his band stuff, Madhouse and Ozzy tribute. That's in the live section that I plugged their station note through. But this one note is the concrete live. I'm going to start making videos. I'm actually going to make a video on this topic, actually, probably right after I get off and put it out there. Because as Gina knows, and I appreciate what you said, Jersey, how I'm like, sorry, everyone. I know it's not as comfortable as like, quick clip editings. And that's the thing with lives. You never know if something's going to go wrong. You never know this or that. But I try to at least, prepare with stuff like this and stuff moving across with some editing stuff. Excuse me. But I don't even like showing that. But it's definitely different though with editing. But lives are organic, they're great, and I love talking to you. And like me and Gina always say, uh it's not my episode. It's not, I mean, excuse me, it's not my channel. It's not her channel. It's not it's ours. It's all of ours. So anyone, please. Um that's how she's on. I started this channel and I put up the Furbo. It was before he passed, and put up the short. I started it 2 days before he passed, and then he passed, and because I wanted to start it after the Back to the Beginning show anyway, as a tribute for him, because I definitely knew that that was his last show, and it's just that happened, and then just kept it going, and then Gina sent in the Randy Rhodes because she lives by his mausoleum, and she sent in the pics. And then I started the community thing, not the community where you pay $5 or whatever. No one will ever have to pay a fucking cent here. And Gracie, I saw what you said though about 100,000 subscribers. Even if we hit that, it won't get I believe you only get the plaque if you're subscribing. Like if you partner up with YouTube, that's what it's all about. They usually will stop throwing your stuff in the algorithm if you don't start monetizing, like by the time you hit like 20 or stuff. But Ozzy though is just so like powerful and stuff though, like that and that's what I love. Like, that's what people just get to, and that's what most people do. There's more people who just they subscribe because they just like the quick shorts. Everyone has a quick a busy life. So but to be able to just throw them out there every day and make little clips. But one thing though I will say though is I started, and this is important though because then you'll understand where I come from. I started I started the Loomis show way back, but then I couldn't get off of drugs and alcohol, so I kept going in and out of rehab. And the Loomis show is just like it wasn't a stream show because streams. This was before COVID. This was probably like 2014, 2015. Do I have? No, I don't. I thought I had like the article though for it. Anyway, so we were doing that, and I didn't know how to edit or anything like that. And then so I was waiting on my buddy though to be done with them and all that stuff to edit and stuff. But then I was fucking around again, whatever. In rehab out, in rehab out. Then I moved to Philly for like 2.5 years, and came back here. That's right, because I was working in Center City, Philly, and then I got a good job and got a house up in the mountains. And then literally right when I moved in, 4 days later, COVID hit, and you know, got turned very vicious with the drugs and stuff. And then November 20, no, I call it 26. I don't count the detox days because they still give you drugs in there like Suboxone and stuff. So November 26th, I call it, of 2021 is 4 years. And I'm not saying that to be like, oh, congratulations. I'm saying that because I used to do this, and when you're a shell of yourself, I remember people would be like, all right, yeah, man, you're gonna start your show again, you're gonna do it, blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, I couldn't, I was like, ugh. I was like, you're sick, you can't even look in the mirror. But once I started, I went into over to the true crime spectrum of stuff, because in my area and stuff, I saw other channels that were just saying nonsense that was not true at all. And what I'm getting at is I did that because like I'm a history freak. And I mean, I even read like like I just love history. And I don't know if that comes from my father. He's a history major and all that stuff, but I just love it. And but AI out there now, like, there's AI videos out there with like, 5 fucking million views, and they're not even true. It just makes you wonder, like, where are we going as far as history goes, like real history? So, and it's just, so that's why, regardless of whatever the fuck, I will always, though, just speak the truth on certain things. I'm not like on, this. I got an email from somebody. I'm not even gonna mention it or whatever though, but it's like there's like teams of like, this or that, or I'm on this team. I'm not on any fucking team. I'm on the truth team, to be honest though with you. But this channel is obviously a tribute to fucking Ozzy Osbourne, Sabbath, and all the musicians around them, and that's that. And the musicians too, though, who are around them and stuff like that, like how you heard Jake there and stuff like that. You know, there's been bad shit happen business wise with them and stuff like that, and I'm not gonna go like just hide from that or stuff like that. I'm just bring that up, or if I'm interviewing one of them, or if any of you want to interview them, like Gina, like I told you, that's the other thing about this channel. I don't have to interview like everyone or anything like that at all. Anyone else could do it, and I dead serious too when I say that, like 100%. So that's what I want this channel to be, is like a community where a bunch of people just, and I appreciate everyone though who have the wrench and the studio and could get back there. And thank you so much for the help, because the especially are tough. But the monitor though, I'm hooking up, and I cracked out the freaking back of the phone thing. I don't think there's too many interviews with Jake out there, especially after the last show. No, and you know what? I don't know if you guys heard me though, and I think when I was it you said it, or is it whoever said it, or you can say it again, because you're spot on when you said he doesn't know how much he's loved. Like, and like, no, not at all. Like, he just like rolled up there, like he's like all nervous and stuff, and he walks in like and all these 90s musicians are in there and all that stuff, and the 87, whatever, from every decade. But I'm just saying, and they're the ones that are like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like Ozzy. Ozzy didn't know uh, how much though he was loved. And what's cool though about what Ozzy got to see that I found out yesterday was I didn't know though that he wasn't on like social media and scrolling and everything like that before COVID, because his last show was at the Forum on New Year's Eve, 2019, was it? Or going into 2019, I believe 18. And I'm not talking about the halftime football stuff. I'm talking about a legitimate show. That there was New Year's Eve, I believe, 2018 going into 19. Yeah, because it wasn't 19 going into 20. So if I'm wrong, someone correct me on that. But fuck was I getting at? I had a point. No, and actually, Gina, this is the first time I actually lost my mind. Meaning that, like, I usually always lose my thoughts. I've been doing all right tonight. I've been doing all right. Victrola, thank you so much for the community post. And I love though, obviously, the images and the magazines and everything that you put up because they take me back. But I love your stories, and I really thank you for taking the time to you know, like you feel like I'm telling you folks, like if you go to the community and scroll down and look like and you see the Victrola lady, and you just read like her stories. Like you first don't get a good get the images in your mind of what she posted, and then read it takes you right back in that time when you had that magazine, or like when you remember seeing it. It's just, yeah, it's good writing. I mean, I love the share and all that, but just you know how to draw people into the stories with writing. And I'm not just blowing smoke up your fucking ass. I don't do that at all. I'm not a yes man at all. Um, Gina knows that, and I tell you how it is. But you're a fantastic writer, just so you know. What's up, silly munch? That was the Paranoid song Ozzy had April. That's what I was saying earlier. Yeah, and that's what blew my mind, and that's when. Oh, what's up, silly? Thank you for being here. Silly with the wrench. I love it. That was Victroll. And if you look back, or if you don't, or whatever, I get it. Everyone's busy. But before you came on, I was saying how you jumped in like with that too, because that's like the creation process. But people were coming on like, this is terrible. No wonder Geezer wrote the lyrics. Like there were no lyrics at the time. Like they thought they were done with the album called War Pigs. That was the name of the album. And then and if I'm wrong on any of this, I'm not. So anyway, the name of the album is supposed to be War Pigs. That's why there's a pig on it. And it became No Paranoid. And their second LP. And they had a little bit of studio time left, and I think it was like 3 hours or something. Actually, maybe I'm just thinking because they had to do a song in under 3 minutes. But yeah, they had like maybe 3 hours to write that, and that's the side that really boom in America and just blew them the fuck up. Where they started touring, internationally. It's not just out there in the UK. And yeah, Gina, man, I had a great time with that episode on Wednesday, and that's what me and Gina do every Wednesday. That's the Concrete Live. It's Loomis and Gina, and we talk about an album. We already did Blizzard. We already did Diary, Bark at the Moon. We're gonna redo the Ultimate Sin because it wasn't fair. I gotta be what's the word I'm looking for? Impartial. And also, and not saying it's good, but one of my favorite Ozzy songs is on there, Killer of Giants. I'm not saying that album's bad at all whatsoever. But then we're like, hey, let's go back to do, Gina, we actually should have just started with Sabbath and worked all the way up until the end. And up until patient number 9, ordinary man, or yeah. But or we could even do that, because I'm going to be honest with you, G. When we first started those episodes, and we were doing like we had I had the editing going and like stuff like that with them, and besides the computer fucking up and all that stuff, my point being though is that we're on Paranoid right now, and we'll just do the Ozzy though ones, and then after though, obviously when he's out, then maybe we'll just do Blizzard though again, because like we got like new graphics and stuff, and like those are like the warm up rounds and stuff like that. Because this may like look easy, but it's not. Like it's your mind keeps like you're trying to see like, okay, this person's writing, because I want, if someone writes to me and I'm talking, and I'm not telling you not to write, I love it, but I can't just ignore their comment. Like that's a human being that's given their time and watching. So, and thank you for writing your comments. But what else do we have going on though this week? So right now it is Monday. This was a random Ozzy one, and that's the last Ozzy tape. Even though there's fucking many tapes. I also wanted to touch on, I don't know if you guys, I wanted to see if and ladies, get your opinions on this. I don't know if you just remember when me and Chris were doing the what the hell am I thinking of? Ozfest episodes, and we were saying like bring Ozfest back. Like this was literally like a week after Ozzy died, 2 weeks like after Ozzy died. But then though, like it's almost like when you have a fantastic piece of art or a fantastic piece of album or like a movie, and like when you see a sequel of a movie, and it's like, man, they should, the Gladiator should have just like you didn't need Gladiator 2 or whatever the hell. I love the spirit of it and all that. But there is never, I mean, and that's obviously no, like it's without Ozzy there. I mean, it's just, I went to one without, I was at 2 that Ozzy wasn't out. The one, though, he was, he did the night before with Sabbath, but they got double booked when he didn't want him double booked. And so he couldn't sing it the next night in Homedale, New Jersey. And then the other one was when he just, when, was it when she got no ATV, because I saw him with Jason Newsted, and that was 2003, I believe. No, and then you saw him in 2004 with Bill Ward, because that's the year Dave died, and then 2005 I saw him with yeah, I was in Virginia, and then I think it was at Sabbath again, 05, I believe. Anyway, I was just wondering, what do you guys think about Ozfest returning? And what people got to know, listen, let me just say one thing, and I get it. Listen, because I come from like the old school, and I get the, not the, I don't really come from the old school. I mean, I'm fucking 44 years old, but okay. So if you look at that with the Ozfest shit, you'll see a bunch of people, right? Like, oh, they're gonna have young blood clothes. They're gonna have young blood clothes. Okay. Listen, I'm just gonna be straight up with this. Like, I'm not a fan of young blood's music. He absolutely destroyed, in a good way, I'm saying, and did an incredible job on the song changes. But this isn't me putting him down or whatever. We can't help what we like to hear. And I don't, I'm just not a fan of the music. It's just too popular, like for me, for my taste, but to each their own. Music's subjective. But so Ozzy says to him and gives him a necklace, as he's all know. And the newspaper tabloids, right? Like Ozzy told him though to be like the next him, and he's gonna listen. He was just saying, he said the same thing to fucking Hetfield. I don't know if you saw the Metallica thing, and there was apples and oranges, Hetfield and Youngblood. No disrespect to Youngblood, but come on now. But he called when Hetfield. I don't know if you guys seen when James Hetfield walks up and he melts down next to Ozzy on the chair. He wasn't there, and he was called for. He's like Jay. He's like, I think it was he yelled at Robert Trill. He's like, go get James for me. And when James came down, Ozzy said to him, like, something in the late, in the lines of like where Lars and Kirk Hammett and Trill and both said, because I'm just, I'm not paraphrasing this, but I don't want to paraphrase because I don't want to fuck up exactly what they said. But like passing like of the torch, he's not telling them to go be me. And that's, I think, where the biggest misconception is, where, and people are just like haters. And so, listen, of course, he's not Ozzy Osbourne. There'll never be another Ozzy Osbourne. This is, so, just either enjoy or don't enjoy. That's what I say, like hate drains energy, but, good for him for winning the Grammy on that. And yeah, and then people read newspaper articles, and and all we do is see glimpses and pieces of all this stuff out there. We think like we know everything about him. Oh, now he's trying to he's being Ozzy. He thinks Ozzy told him to be the next him. I'm not talking about people like out there like that's what like they fucking wrote in a thing, and then people read it and they believe it, and just like the AI shit, that's just gonna change history. When he passed away, I know you guys know, and ladies know the one I'm talking about. Some of you, or there's a video of him, and someone was sending them to me like, "This is beautiful," and it's him going, paraphrase it again, but it's showing clips of him like like hurting with his disease and stuff, and Parkinson's, and just everything. And he's like, I'm dying. This is my last show. I wanted to, and then, but that, he didn't say that. And I just said that in a thing, not meaning that like he wouldn't like say that if he knew that or whatever. But like all I wrote though was like, this isn't Ozzy. And then the people were like, why would you say that though? Who cares that it's not Ozzy? Well, because he's not saying it. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm getting old. Maybe I'm just turning into a grumpy old man. I don't know. But the moral of this episode: give credit where credit's due, and I appreciate each and every one of you who come on and appreciate that. Where's Pat at? There he is, Pat. Pat, I didn't even go on that night. I called Pat. I hit him up like at 12:30. G and I figured though, because Pat's a trooper, because I could see he's snoring on the one episode, and I'm like, Pat, I'm gonna stay on for another hour. I figure he's just like, I'm just gonna go to bed. I'll see you guys. He said, no, he hangs. But he snores. I love it. And but when I called you the other night at it was like fucking go. I told you I'm going on at 1 a.m. That's what this started. This episode was supposed to be at 1 a.m. But then I'm like, what am I doing? But I'm making a video on this episode and clipping it up because it deserves it. And then you guys will understand my point a little better, I hope. But Pat, I thought you were gonna end up coming on still, but I thought you were gonna have the fucking sleep acting machine on and all that. But don't you rock that? He's a trooper. He's a trooper. So a silly bunch. Nothing much, Loomis. Glad you are streaming today. I appreciate you very much, and I'm glad that you are part of this family, helping us out with the wrench, and you're the best. Thank you so much, silly. So much. Grace. What's up, Grace? Eating those edibles today, Grace, or just smoking? Pat, welcome. Oh, also, too, so how I said with the concrete lifetimes, because that's what I had to talk to Pat about on the weekend. because that was like a random, like our first one. Well, he came on Friday and then he came on Saturday. It wasn't supposed to be like our first one, but me and Loomis, Loomis and Gina, me and Gina have the concrete time Wednesday at 8:05. If Pat's up for it, I believe that now this one tonight is just random. So don't consider Monday night, whatever. I mean, I might drop a video or an interview or and I drop shorts every day when I can. But me and Pat, if he's down for it on Saturdays, we're gonna try to get a concrete time there. And I think Pat, the safe time for me is 11:05. I think you know that too. Just until this trailer gets completed. I didn't get home the other night until literally like quarter to fucking 12, and I was there since 7:30 in the morning. So, but if we're gonna keep it it's the weekend too. Like it's Saturday Night Live, it's 11:05, and let me know if you like that. And if you can't do 11:05, then I'll still work though with you though because I want you to do it. Ozzy was the melody master, not lyrics. Oh yeah, 100%. Well, did you even see the short I even put up? And he's like, "Yeah, I went to Lemmy and I wrote lyrics and this and that." That's the other thing though with Bob though. Bob wrote. I mean, Jesus. I mean, that's what I was saying. And don't forget on Saturday though with Bob. But Pat, did you just jump in here? Did you see any of this that we were talking about with the last tape that they were showing over the weekend or last week or whatever? And that was one of the drummers that Bob was talking about. He doesn't remember though which one because I mean there was 40 fucking some drummers that they auditioned, and but then Lee was the last one, and he would believe he was the 45th. Because I asked Bob that again in this next interview that's coming up, and I think everyone's gonna enjoy it though. And but so Pat, what I was laughing though about is that Bob has 8 hours to 7 hours of him, Randy Lee, and Ozzy tapes. Like, I mean, this guy has, and that's Bob Daisley, the last man standing from that band, the last one who's alive. From Blizzard of Oz, Diary of a Madman, not the live acts, the people who wrote that music, the writers. And this isn't a diss to the live acts or whatever. The live acts, they're doing a job, whatever. No disrespect to Tommy. I love Tommy Aldridge. And this is no disrespect to him whatsoever. But the writing is what makes you love the song. And then you go and hear the song. So Blizzard of Oz, Diary of a Madman. Those two albums that real Ozzy fans, like when you talk to them, always say, that those two are just in a league of their own. And it's because of every single gentleman, though. They're right there. And it's just so sad and crazy how fast time goes. And, well, let alone how fast time goes. I mean, at least Ozzy, Lee, and Bob got to live a longer life, though, than Randy, though. It's so tragic at 25. But, yep. So, what I believe out of my top, I'd say top, well, for me, it has to be top 3 bands of all time. That right here, this lineup right here, without a doubt. And I will say though, Bark at the Moon though too, that album sits on its own. And me and Bob actually talk about that in the next interview. I'll be dropping clips, and I kept my mouth shut a lot more for this one, so you folks should enjoy it. It's not as listen. Here's and I take full accountability. And sometimes when I do this, I'm like, wait, am I trying to make an excuse? But Bob is even saying to me too, and he's like, listen, man. He's like, if I was ever telling you, like, hold on, whatever, he's like, cut the, like, he wasn't trying to be a thing or whatever. He's trying to get the story out to me, and just said to him this, and I'm like, no, Bob, man. I'm like, I'm just, grateful. And second of all, it's hard because I'm used to seeing someone next to me and talking. And that's what he even said to me. He's like, like I was holding my phone on speaker next to the mic, and then just editing a bunch of movies though to go over that for and this one will also be that too. I'm not just gonna have his interview like with the mic moving live with a picture. And a lot of people always say to me, just release it like now. But like, from the clip here, for example, that I'll put from the last one, I like to you'll see a picture at times just sitting there like when he's talking, but I like to it's once you put it out there, it's out there forever. So I just like to put some editing note to it. But this is a clip though from our first interview, and I believe he's talking about Diary of a Madman and Johnny Cook.
By Carl Orff, this piece called Carmina Burana, and I gave Lou Clark a tape of Carmina Burana, and I said, for Diary of a Madman, just think Carmina Burana, and that's what he did, and that's why Diary of a Madman sounds like it does, because of the influence of Carmina Burana with the choirs and the strings and that.
Yeah, but I mean, what about was there a Johnny Cook out there?
Johnny Cook played keyboards on Diary of a Madman.
Yes. Yeah.
He was the keyboardist. Don Airey didn't play on Diary of a Madman.
Yeah.
Don Airey did. He was like a guest keyboard player that played on some tracks of the first album.
Yeah.
He was in Rainbow, so
Yeah.
he wasn't part of
Well,
that.
there's that misconception out there, though, that some people say that, and I'm like, no, I said that because he is.
Well, that's the thing. On Diary of a Madman, Johnny Cook was supposed to get his credit, and he didn't get his credit. But there's no keyboard player credited on Diary of a Madman. So, but people assume that because Don Airey had played and been credited on the first album, that it's him on the second album, but it's not. It's Johnny Cook.
Yeah, and then just hearing like all that, I was just like, wow, because I love keyboards, and obviously with Mr. Crowley, but there's more keyboard type intros on it though. But I mean the strings and the choirs and well, he said no, who was doing that though, but just at the choir, no keyboards in there, and he actually put piano. He overdubbed piano tracks on there over Johnny Cook with the strings and stuff like that, and he like hearing that album, and that's what made me though I believe to love Ozzy so much, is because. And even Floyd, like when I was young and stuff like that. And that's why, I had this, I was like 16 years old, and because and that's why I started to just play keys. I just love that dark, type sound. And like even on Bark on the Moon, the intro to Center of Eternity, that type of stuff. I just, I love that. But it just shocked me though, that there's no keyboardist, no mention on that album, because there's the work on it keyboard wise is absolutely fantastic, and how he overdubbed with the piano that was already in the studio. It was an older piano, I forget, but it was the piano, the studio piano, and yeah, I love keyboards and stuff, so that's why it was great to hear who actually wrote the intro to Mr. Crowley and stuff. And that's why I made a video on that, because that song, that intro, all that was everything to me. All of them choose. Where are we at? All right, let me get because now the lights, my eyes will start watering in about 5 minutes. Let me read some of these. I read in Geezer's book, Ozzy asked him what paranoid meant. Then he said it became his anthem. Yeah, because it came though right at the last, because like I said, the album is called War Pigs, but they kept, you know, and I think though back in those days too, it's not like today with the technology. The album cover was done, and you know, album covers back in those days like was like a big deal. Like, you know, it wasn't like boom, okay, digitally create, boom, 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 done. Here you go. So that's why it's stated like it doesn't make sense. Paranoid, and there's a pig on it. So because it was going to be called War Pigs. So there was a deadline. They didn't have the time, and that's what they came up with. And yeah, and that's the one though that really broke them in the States. And because you know, Black in the UK, Black Sabbath, the album, that excuse me, I gotta plug in this laptop before it dies. Hit that subscribe there while I'm doing this. I think I have the but I don't think I can talk to while they do it though, but hit that subscribe, and if you want to be notified whenever we go live or whenever a short or video drops, ring that bell. I don't ring my bells though, like if I subscribe because the fancy because your phone's going ding, bing, bang, bang, or I just keep it on mute. Like you know, most people be like, ring that bell, you know, the terrible promoter there, but I'm just saying, do whatever you just want to do. It's your world. I'm just around in it. But you know, so since this tape now broke and stuff, and I just interviewed Bob, we didn't interview, you know, we didn't talk about the tape. We did though talk about the tapes, plural, but this was before this story broke. And when we did the interview, this was about, I want to say about 12 days ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. And like I said, I'm not just going to throw a picture up there and do whatever. And like, you know, like I like to just like, put imagery on it and stuff. And, you know, for anyone, even Pat's interview, everyone's interview. And Pat would be like, oh, I'm nobody. Don't worry about it. No. Anyone who gets interviewed on this channel, like, you know, it's not just going to be but me and them, or say Gina and them, or whoever wants to come on and them. And even when they're for hypothetical, say Gina interviews someone about the Last Rites book because she's looking for someone to talk to about that because my father just passed in November. My dog Ozzy just died in last year, and I'm just not ready to read that book. And I just put my father's picture right there, and I can't, you know, I still can't look at it in the eyes. So I'm just not ready to read that book yet. So Gina's looking for someone to do like a little episode about it, talk about it. So you know, I will absolutely facilitate though that, and anyone, like I said, could do episodes. Oh, here we go. Someone mentioned Bad Bunny. I bet more tapes out there. They may never get found, but there's people that. Are you saying more tapes out there besides Bob's? There are definitely unequivocally 100% tapes out there. And that's why, like with this, for example, for anyone who wasn't on know earlier, this is a 10-second thing though with it though. And yeah.
There was a common saying, oh, you're off the rails, or you're going off the rails, or whatever. So I thought, well, if, you know, you're going off the rails on a crazy train. So that's how that came about. And we began rehearsing it. I've got tapes of us writing that and putting it together. And there's one funny one where Ozzy at the beginning of it, where he says, I'd written the lyrics by then, or at least some of them.
Yeah.
And he, at the beginning of the song, Ozzy says, all aboard, that part. But in this tape that I've got in our rehearsal, you can hear him say, all aboard, you cunts.
Oh, man, what I do for that version. Oh, that's great.
Oh, what was I going to say, though? So, yeah, Jersey, see, how he said, I got, a bunch of tapes. Like, yeah, no, Bob's got tapes. He's got tapes, man. 7 hours worth. And I'm going to show it one last time. Not that. Grover Jackson, who made Randy's guitar along with most 80 rock stars, had a bunch of demo tapes. Oh, yeah, no, I know what you're saying. Okay, yeah, no, then you know about Bob's tapes. You're just saying that there's other 100%. Oh, yeah, and don't forget, too, other recordings out there. There's, what he was doing with Steve Vai, prior to Osmosis, and I believe what was it called, like the X Prod, they were going to call it, though. Bob was involved with that. Was supposed to be involved with that, and then with Steve Vai, and then Osmosis though ended up coming out in 96, 95, 96, I believe. And there's Steve Vai song, and they're like my little band and stuff. And that album, I loved all the fucking vocal melodies. I love the piano in it, and that was like my favorite, not favorite. Excuse me, that was like the last Ozzy album where I just was. I mean, there are like I told you, I could listen to Ozzy sing "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star." I don't know what it is. I love it. His voice, it just resonates with me. But when you really don't break it down, though, because after Blizzard and Diary, which were just monumental, then Bark at the Moon, which I can't wait to drop this interview, like how we talk about, and I think Victrola will agree with this, that how even though Blizzard and Diary were two monster albums, and a lot of people, including myself, when people say what's your favorite album out of those two, I think I even I think I brought this up to Bot too, and he was just like, no, yeah, I totally get it. I almost have them like meshed together, like it's like, how can I pick a better one? But then I'll be like, well, Crowley's like, the song that they gotta be like loving just that dark, and and getting me to want to learn about bands and, all that, and man, get into music. But then no, like Diary of the Madman, the song, it's a fucking masterpiece. It really is. An absolute masterpiece. And the time signature changes, and it goes with the lyrics. Schizophrenia and then like mad, and there's time to it's just so well written, and then how it ends the end though, like with the choir, and yeah, just a masterpiece. But then Jake comes in, and him, Bob, Tommy Aldridge, Ozzy, Don Airey, Bark at the Moon, and I think that album just stands on its own. And then for him though coming in and trying to not only fill the shoes of Randy Rhoads, Jake, but to I knew it would start getting me eventually, but to come in and try to get an album done like that, because you usually want to supersede or at least be as good as, but besides Randy Rhoads and all that stuff, and at the time, and still is horrendously tragic. But besides filling those like footsteps, like you got to fill the house of those two albums too. And what him and Bob did, and that's what I was trying to look for in that interview, is like, you heard him there in the beginning when he's like in Daisley. And then he talks about like, how much you could just, after working with Bob, how much you could hear his writing in Blizzard and all that stuff. And he breaks down a part, I believe, when in Bark at the Moon, where it's like, the verse, and then when it goes in he's looking for, I'm not a singer. I play some piano, but I'm not a singer. Don't crucify me. But that's it. That he's like, that's all Daisley. Like, like Bob would, someone have like a great riff, and Bob would take that, again, take it to where this though needs to go and where that needs. You know what? I have to ask him. The end of Crowley, when it goes Gary Moore claims that Randy took it from him. I love Gary Moore. He's a fucking incredible guitar player. But I mean, everyone though. I mean, there's only so many notes though that been played though and stuff though. But
Randy's definitely inspired by him, and he was at a concert though back in '79, was it, or '80? Before that, but I'm not gonna shit talk Gary Moore. He's unbelievable, and just R.I.P. And but there is a video of him though sitting down being interviewed saying that part in Crowley was it polemically said. I wanna know what you meant, and then yeah, like that's the stuff I love, and like the creation stuff. Like I just wish I asked Bob, like, yeah, that transition to that, how did you go into that transition? Like, I'm wondering if that was Randy that went into that, or if you know, because when you're writing songs, though, Bob and him could be sitting down, and he could have just been like, "Hey, going like that transition, that kind of sounds though like, you know," and then puts his spin on. Who knows? That's what I love. I just love hearing the creating processes of like these songs, and like Victrola was saying, like the behind the scenes stuff of creation of whether it's video, the music. I mean, I love seeing the behind the scenes of videos. Don't get me wrong, but when it comes to music and stuff, and that's why no matter what, uh, I will always campaign for those tapes to be released the right way because you already said all aboard. Yeah, I'm not going to say it with ladies on. I'm a classy gentleman, but and that's more like an English thing and stuff like that. So he's not like being like the women, but I'm from Pennsylvania, so I'm not going to say it with ladies on here. But with that said, yeah, it would just be great though to have them. And this is like that. Pat, I don't know if you saw this though, but this is like a 10-second tape, and Bob Daisley was the last man standing of that band, without a shadow of a doubt. Like you cannot dispute that. Um, has 8 hours of it, and this is what brought this episode on, my man.
It was found by this man who met the heavy metal pioneer early in 1980. This was a few months after the singer had been fired from Black Sabbath, and he spent a few weeks rehearsing in Suffolk to try out something new.
I've got a tape somewhere. And my wife says, not in the house, I've searched everywhere. She said, I bet you I know where it is. It's in your workshop, in the attic, and there it was. I found it in this briefcase.
And you were sort of nervous about trying it?
Because, as you can see, it's one of those, and they do twinkle up sometimes, and I haven't got a machine like this one, and I daren't play it, to be honest with you.
Taken a toll, it was a long shot.
See, that's him. That's him. Very bluesy.
So, not a lost master tape. Instead, a recording that captures a more relaxed time behind the scenes. This is Ozzy with the late Randy Rhoads and Bob Daisley, a make or break point in his career. They went on to recruit drummer Lee Kerslake and released the first album, Blizzard of Oz.
Well, as soon as I heard it, I thought, well, yes, that's us, and that's Ozzy's voice. I don't know what drummer that would have been on that tape, but it's definitely me and Randy and Ozzy. We knew straight away. As soon as we played together, we said, yep, it clicked, and we knew that it was going to work.
Experts say the tape is significant not so much for the music, but for what it represents.
It's an incredible artifact, I think. So, it's not a fully formed song. It's not a last master tape. It's not from the vault that's going to be, sold commercially for millions. But it captures a really significant moment in Ozzy Osbourne's life.
And I was just thinking of the old school like box sets that I used to buy, and it'd just be great though. Like a huge box set comes out. It's called the Holy Grail tapes, and there's fucking 7 hours. That'd be great. That would be great. And they're out there, folks. How would they be released properly? There's legal disputes and copyright disputes on the tapes. So to be out properly, they would have to make a deal and sit down and negotiate and talk and yeah, but they can't though just be released because I believe of the studio or it was at Ozzy's house and it was that Jet Records that was sending people to his house, so it was probably like Jet Records. There's something in that, but the reason why they have the copyright, but I just don't see why not. Just like why not work with Bob and try to get it's like he's the last one. He's the last one, and this is sad to say, but he's just the last one alive though of like that band, and they were fucking incredible. Are you kidding me? And then he went on to Bark at the Moon and all that stuff, but I mean, he's the last one alive in that band. Period. That with those two albums, and that I believe are the tree. And then everything else is like the branches, like afterwards. And Bark at the Moon, also, big fan of Bark at the Moon. And surprisingly, I liked Osmosis because of I liked them all. Don't get me wrong, but like I'm a fan of Osmosis from his vocal melody because of his melodies and his. I like the keyboard work in it and the piano songs in it. And if you guys don't have the Prince of Darkness box set, that's actually when I met him. It's on YouTube, but his version of like Working Class Hero acoustic with John Lennon, not with John Lennon, but John Lennon song. Fucking peasants. It's so good. So good. As soon as you're born, they make you feel small by giving you no time instead of it all. Till you feel so good. Anyway, I bet Ozzy said fuck off more than any other words in his lifetime. Oh, without a doubt. I think about it. Bob mentioned that thing, all aboard. Yeah, see you and T asterisk STS or whatever. So and that's just like 7 seconds of 7 hours or 8 hours of them. So I can only imagine what the fuck he has on tape. I mean, that right there that he has is an absolute, like that guy said, it's a fucking like monument time, or it's a very, what was the word he used? Artifact of the big, well, it is, yeah. But there's also fucking 7 out, at least we know, at least minimal 7 hours of Randy Rhoads, Bob Daisley, Lee Kerslake, and Ozzy creating. And we know this. So yeah, hopefully they I think it's a disservice to the fans. I would buy a box set of the Holy Grail. Look how much hype this last one caused. Oh yeah, are you kidding me though? And then like also like what to do though with them though too that you could do, Linda, is like how box sets have. I remember when I was younger and stuff, I got the Doors one, I got the Pink Floyd one, I got the Metallica Justice for All one, I got the Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. I had a lot of box sets, but there'd be like demo stuff and this and that in there. But like if they did know the Holy Grail tapes and did that box set, it's a great fucking name. And oh man, I'm just picturing like if that was ever released. fucking immediately have that. But in the right box, everything like old school. But people don't do that a lot anymore. They just buy like online or whatever. But my point being is, I buy the fucking the actual box set, and yeah, and then since the only songs that are on them, I believe, I don't know if on those tapes, I'll ask them. I don't know if stuff from Diaries on those tapes, or if it's just stuff from Blizzard. I know there's stuff from Blizzard on there, but no, I'm sure that there's, but nah, because they did Diary, that they're probably out of where they. Oh, that doesn't matter. You still couldn't have been recording them. I'll find that out. But yeah. So my point being is that album only has what, 8 songs. So you have like, well, I mean, let's be honest. 7 hours is a lot, but yeah, you just put them like in like like a little sleeve, fucking like and of course they're gonna break them up, and like whoever the distributors and they'll break them up and they'll try mastering up and stuff, which I think they should just keep the raw sound. I mean, they have to put it digital. I understand that, but we just had to do that with a bunch of vinyl though for our project. But it's just the way how the world works these days. But um, bottom line is they're out there, and we saw how much buzz that brought. And that was in like the museum in Birmingham for Ozzy, right across from Villa Park in Birmingham. And yeah, it'd just be great though to get them out. And then like the channels though that, and listen, I get it. Like I find Randy Rhoads. I mean, I fucking, without him, I don't even think I even play music, even though I'm not even a guitar player, because of probably without any of those guys at all. Because like Bob said, if you move one out, if you take one of them out of there, if Lee's not in there, it doesn't work. They were trying 45 drummers after those 3 guys were together. Lee was the last one. Boom, it's chemistry. It's not. They could add Stuart Copeland. It doesn't matter. It's the chemistry. And so, like he said, you take Ozzy out of there, just as vital as the instruments. And my analogy is just like with baseball team. I knew like my New York Yankees going to win in 2009 because the clubhouse, like they like loved each other. We got this guy named Nick Swisher who came in there and he was all positive and like everyone had each other's back. And I just saw like they were fighting for each other. Like, we're winning the World Series this fucking year because we haven't won since 2000. And we did. And we didn't have, we had great players, but like, you could buy freaking 20 freaking 5 A-Rods on a team, but that doesn't mean you're going to win the World Series. So like, it's same as in a band. It's all the chemistry. And we could tell that from when band members leave, including even just singers. Sound completely even changes a lot, This Gen X music. I remember that Yankees win. Oh, you got a Yankee fan here? What's up, Miss Gen X? That's what I like to hear. I live right the AAA stadium, Scranton, Wilkes-Barre Yankees, though, where they do their rehab assignments and come down those like right up the road. I mean, I have a ton of fucking Yankee stuff though, but this is just my mobile studio, I should say. Like while I'm on like basically on the go. But that was just because Christmas wasn't too long ago. But which gave it that? How about in 2001 though, when the Trade Center came down and then fucking that was terrible. I was there the day before. It was a day game, and it was in the old stadium, which I missed to death. It was so much louder. It was just so much history, and that old stadium was beautiful. And I remember I used to go to the new stadiums afterwards, and you'd see it little by little, like after the 1 year and it going down. I remember Paul O'Neill standing in right field, like the chant is Paul O'Neill, and like it broke my heart, broke my fucking heart. But we ended up winning though in 2009, the first year, and yeah, And then A-Rod, though, finally, though, did something. I mean, he was a monster in that postseason, monster. And then that was it. But we haven't won, though, in a long time. All right, we'll get back to. But what I'm trying to say is, I was even telling when I was interviewing Bob, I even was saying that's the analogy I use. Like, you could buy Albert Pujols, McGuire on fucking roids, Barry Bonds, all the, that does not mean that you're going to win the World Series. Because a lot of egos there. They want the high numbers. No. Team sport and the chemistry. That's why we won in 09. 1998 was the greatest team in Yankee history. I agree. And I got to see that team a fucking bunch. Ferocious, brocious. Freaking, are you kidding me? El Duque? Don't even get me started. Pat, I forget what you said, Mets. If you're a Yankee, let's start a Yankee channel. I'm not even kidding. I'm a Yankee encyclopedia as well. Love them. What do you got, Miss Gen X? My daughter tried to steal my 2000 champion Yankees cap. I took it back. Well, at least she's got good taste on what she's trying to steal. But so then, yeah, I didn't finish though, Miss Gen X. But the trade center goes down. We got to wait. The president comes out, throws out the first pitch. Those amazing games. Tino Martinez, bottom of the ninth inning, 2 outs. We're done, right? Tino Martinez, boom. Freaking grand slam, ties it up. And then Jeter becomes Mr. November. And then Barocious the next time in the ninth, the next game. Boom. And then we lost in Arizona. And Jeter was playing in because of the guy on third. And if he was in his normal spot, but I mean, he was playing him right. But fuck. And that was like when the whole world was like for New York, though, then too, because that's when the towers went down. But yeah, a lot of great memories. Me and my father, I remember I fucking grabbed him and kissed him on his fucking lips in 2009 when he grounded out the Cano. To Teixeira, the Yankees are back on time. World champions for the 26th time. Oh my, 27th time. Unbelievable. All right, I gotta shut up. We're on a music channel. I know you did, Pat. I know you did, my man. I love how I called up though one of the guys from the Genovese while me and Pat were doing an interview. And it was just funny. I don't know though if that'll be in there, Pat. But Scranton is 30 miles north of me. Oh, really? Nice. I'm in Wilkes-Barre, PA, Linda. So I just call like Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, it's 10 miles of 81. What's up, Angela? I caught a Yankees ball. My very first Yankees game in 86. I was 18. They played against the Padres. Nice. At the old stadium, too. Do I still have my, I have them. But I'm trying to see if they're right here. Where the hell is, man, get me started on the Yankees. It's a wrap. Where are my glasses? Wait, doesn't matter. Are you kidding me? Well, sorry about that. Oh, because they're on the ground, like dumbass. But remember Yankeeographies on Yes? They were the best. Of course, I got that box set, but I got it was real cool in 2009. Even though I was heartbroken because I'm looking across the street, like, why are we getting rid of this stadium? But I was at the final game, and I got the final game, and where they didn't even know make the playoffs, and Jeter gave the speech, and then talking about moving across the street. First game, not the opening day, they did an exhibition game against the Cubs, and my girlfriend at the time, this is back in 2009, so this is already, Jesus, 16 years. I was like right down there. She was only able to get one ticket. She's like, just go, because she took me out there for my birthday and she liked the Red Sox. So I was like, okay, fuck her. So anyway, so I'm there, and I'm like right by the dugout, and it was just great. Matsui signed my book, and just to be right there in the new field and stuff, like, it was cool because I was right there against the dugout and stuff, but it was just like, it turned, and then Steinbrenner was dying then. And it just is like it turned into corporate, like how all fields turned into bank names and stuff. And even though it's still called Yankee Stadium, but even though we're Red Sox are our rivals, I give respect to them for still having Fenway, and like I just like the like Wrigley Field, if that ever stops, that'll be a sin. But yeah, this is from that. But I also though have the very first one though. First is right here. Hold on. Where the fuck is it? I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah, I definitely have it somewhere, but next time I will show it. But I could talk about the Yanks forever, but Yankeeography, though, if you're a Yankee fan, though, watch the Paul O'Neill, all of them. Paul O'Neill's so good. The Warrior, Paul O'Neill. Paul O'Neill. All right. Yankees better win, though. As all I'm going to say is, and you know what their problem is, Miss Gen X, is that they're not playing baseball. Like Jeter and A-Rod was saying, they're not playing baseball, and it's not even Boone's fault. What they're doing is they're doing that analytic fucking bullshit, like with the fucking numbers and this and that. Like, stop it. Like back in the old days, Mantle used to drink a bottle of Jack and wake up and smash a home run. Like, you know what I mean, Pat? Like this analytic shit is like especially in the postseason when the pitcher is dominating in the sixth inning and he has like 78 pitches and you're gonna take him out. Like when he shows no chink in his armor yet, no single, no and he doesn't have full say, and that's like a fact. And Jeter out at that, to the public, him and A-Rod, it all comes down from Cashman, Steinbeck, this George is fucking flipping in his fucking grave. That's all I'm gonna say. Love your Ozzy pick in the background. Are you talking to me? Angela, yeah. Well, you know what though? You're gonna love this one though, I think better though. Well, no, I shouldn't say that, but one of my best friends, who I used to go up and down the East Coast when we were young, wild lads. Oh, I did though. I did delete it right before this though. A girl by the name of Amanda Sellers is painting me well, not painting me, it's already done. Has an incredible Ozzy painting for me. Gina, you know which one I'm talking about. And it's like, it's purple, black, and it's him with the glasses, and he's like going though like this, but it has though like black, like it has like optical illusion, like Pat's or whatever, blacks. You got to see the fucking thing. And I literally took it down though today to fill storage up on here. But yeah, that'll look good. But thank you very much. Yeah, she was like 13 when she painted that. She's unbelievable. Now she went to art school and she could freaking paint. And she's just fantastic, unbelievable. What else did I miss up here? Anything? Yeah, but just to wrap up the episode though, we let's hope that the Holy Grail though tapes don't come out. And there's a comment under there from someone though who knew what they were talking about. That was just saying though, like, what is up though with like, why would you cut out though? Like I don't think people understand though, like who are Ozzy, like who would listen to Ozzy, how important this man though was, and it's just funny to me. Like, I don't get it. Thank you so much, Angela. It's tough being a Yankee fan while living in San Francisco. Oh well, but we had the best music scene in the '80s. Oh yeah, well you're in San. It's tough being a Yankee fan when I lived in Philly, but Philly's only 2 hours away, and Yankees 2 hours away. If you know, well, no, wait, was it you who said that you're? No, that was Linda who said that she's 30 minutes. But yeah. So if you're all the way out there, but oh no, you don't even get to see spring training. Because when I lived in Tampa, though, that was nice too, because I got to see the spring training games out there. I was at the final game, September 21st, 2008. So was I, my man. So was I. Right here. September 21st, 2008. Wait till it zooms. You see it underneath the final game? I also have the first game as well, which is like a little more like brighter blue and stuff. But yeah, fucking absolutely love the Yankees, man. Me and my father would watch it all the fucking time. Like come down, watch it with them, and we were together. We were together though in '09 though, like watching it with the World Series. It was great. And he passed away in November here, and this year when they made it, and last year because he already was, he was diagnosed and was already on the chemo. But I'm like, all right, they're gonna win it for my pop before he goes. They had two fucking chances, two, and fucking analytics. Anyway, yeah, I hear you. Mo made the error that lost 7 in Arizona. We forgave the greatest reliever in baseball. Well, listen, the bottom line is this. If people, Pat, are bringing the envelopes, if a guy's bringing the envelope every day with 10K in it, every day for 4 or 5 years, and one day he pops up short, you're going to break his legs? No. So, but at the same time, did he? Because Jeter, if you're talking about his pitch, he didn't throw a wrong pitch, though, really. Because if you notice, Jeter was playing in. If Jeter was playing on his normal spot, he would have got him. But Jeter had to also no play in because there was a guy on third. So to get the ball at home quicker, obviously. So, we can Monday night we can Monday quarterback it all the time. 25 years later, Pap, but fucking just sucks, Sucks. Jate. Ozzy said he couldn't relate to going to San Francisco. Be sure to wear flowers in your hair. Yeah, Linda, I have that. If you get a chance, go to the short section. It just like I put a shit. There's like 200 of them up. It's just scroll down. I put that. I think there's 2 clips of that I have up on this channel in the shorts. Oh, thank you very much. I really, really, really do appreciate that, Miss Gen X. Yeah, he was the best. The absolute best. Rough year. But we all we gotta do is move forward. There we are, getting ready to go to the Audi Club. And that was when A-Rod tied Willie Mays with the 660 home runs. And we were up in the glass. And we are like, drinking and stuff like that. And my dad, that wasn't whatever, but there's a funny story though. Because I was an addict and stuff. I'm clean over 4 years, but we're in the Audi Club, and me and my man Ed right there on the left, and My man Drew right there to the right. The fucking Hammers right there. Those guys. But anyway, you know, I got a bag of fucking blow in my pocket, and I can eat whatever I want in the Audi Club. It's fucking beautiful there. My dad though got the tickets from his work, and Christopher from The Sopranos is sitting in there and stuff like that, and all this, I rip a line about, I'm a little buzzed up, and then all of a sudden, like I'm like gone, and my dad's like, "Where the fuck is he at?" And then Drew to the right and Ed to the left there point to the jumbotron because I went to the bleachers, and I was, and I was just fucking like this, just like fucking banging my head like fucking like this. There's just you gotta be there. It was just funny, like where is he? And then boom, there he is. Because I mean, I was zooted, flying all over the stadium, but I'm not like that at all anymore. But yeah, that's him though. But thank you very much. I appreciate that. He was the best. And cancer could go fuck its whole family. More men have walked on the moon than have scored off Rivera in the postseason. And you want to know what's incredible about him too? I'm gonna have to break this thumbnail in half with like the Yankee the Yankee symbol, but which is whatever. I already talked about everything anyway, though. That like I mean, I wanted to talk about though with tapes and with Bob's interview coming out, and also though with you saw how big of a deal it is in an artifact, and Bob has 8 hours of the band, and he's the last one who's alive from that band. No one else, him. So you know, like for history's sake and all that good old stuff, like egos I believe like need to be set aside, and the art never should be hidden for just more consumption, more money and this or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't take that shit with you when you die. But when you throw stuff out there like that, it lives forever. So we'll see. We'll see. I saw that there was an article though that he was willing though to like reconcile and all that stuff. So we'll see what happens though with all that. But what's right is right. What are we on? Wow, I already went over 2 hours on a random one. I read that, Linda. LOL, summer love. Hey, I'm loving though the fact, Gina. I don't know if you're still here, but we got Miss Gen X Music, and we got Linda, and there's Vaz. What's up, my man, Vaz? And Angela here. We always love when some new people come into the chat and say what's up. I mean, there's a lot of other ones who aren't here tonight. This is a random, but thank you so much, Angela. Is Gen X. That's way up there. I'm just looking. That entire team. Oh, look, I didn't even see you put that up. O'Neill. That's my man. Don't even. Paul O'Neill. That's my man. That's my man. Paul O'Neill. Just fucking heart. Came over from Cincinnati. And for that team, Tino Martinez, O'Neill, ferocious. Freaking. Then Rivera in 90 when they brought him though out the mountain, and freaking just all of Tino Martinez. Remember Knobloch fucking would fucking right like routine ground ball off of fucking Joe Torre's fucking grandmother's face. But Knobloch, freaking Soriano, well, Soriano though was it though? He was like right after, and El Duque with the FIFA's pitch. It's just bringing back great memories. Strawberry, that fight against Baltimore, Torrey, Don Zimmer, all of them in the clubhouse. Just that G-Man, like just the whole. I don't know. Just that was the team, and even the Red Sox rivalry like died. Like everything kind of like Like back when, they were throwing each other around, Strawberry bashed open someone's freaking orbital. Now they're like, come on, you know, what happened? Paul with his temper, throwing his bat down, and facial expressions. That era, I'll tell you though, a game I was at real quick before I go. And right now, thank you everyone though for who came on though, and we're talking Ozzy and talking the lost tapes. And before though, I just finish off with the Yankees with you. I just want to say thank yous as well, and don't forget this Wednesday at 8:05 p.m. Eastern. That's the concrete time. Tonight is like a random, but that's the concrete time. And this Saturday, at 11 a.m., I will have the return of Mr. Bob Daisley on as well. So that's going to be a good one. Bob is the one with the tapes and the last man in the band. So and it was a great interview, and I'm just editing that up though. And Pat, just and all that, please subscribe to Into the Void, Ozzy Osbourne Tribute. I don't like that. It takes my mic off. Like, I don't need to put that up. Like, why can't a square come up right here? Like, I could just say that. Like, sorry about that. But I know you all know how to hear the word subscribe or like or whatever. But so, what do we got? Looking forward to Wednesday, Iron Void Army. Gina, we got Master of Reality. That's right. Master of Reality on Wednesday, and that's my favorite Sabbath album. I mean, I love them all. We talked about favorites and all that type of stuff, but you know what I mean. And why do you think this channel though has, if you look right here at the this right here, look at the color. I got those colors from Master of Reality. That's why I have the purple atmosphere light behind me. That's like my favorite just color like scheme, like that purplish black. I just absolutely love it. And that's not why I love the album. The album itself is just absolutely though incredible. And to me, they came out with Black Sabbath, and then Paranoid. And after Paranoid, which was the album, like Gina was saying, though, really got like popular, in the States, and everyone knew them and stuff, and they're touring now everywhere and stuff. The Master Reality, you could just, is like that, more, I'd say like polished up though type sound. It sounds incredible. And plus though, they produced a lot of their albums. So Tony Iommi did too. And but Master Reality, I mean, they never fucking stopped. Usually, after 4 or 5 albums or whatever, even though it's just their third. But we're gonna get past the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. But I'm saying that Into the Void. Like, are you kidding me? Like, just the intro to that, just that slide down. Like, are you fucking kidding me? And then what do you call it? Children of the Grave, fucking everything on that is absolutely brilliant. Just like we were saying last week, Gina, even on Paranoid, even on Black Sabbath, like, it's just, you don't even have to, you just play it from the beginning. Enjoy. Don't even need to skip anything, but I'm looking forward to that one. And there's a little documentary on there. Good night, Angela. And thank you, Angela, for jumping in. We hope to see you again. We always like when new people come and support. And if you don't mind, though, when you're on a live chat, if you hit the like button, it helps keep this moving. Really appreciate you being here. And yeah, and come back anytime. Oh, and just before you leave, anyone who is though subscribed, if you hit the community button, like when people have posts and pictures, anyone could just post pictures and put whatever. This is an unmonetized channel. No matter, this could have been monetized months ago, but we're hitting 8,000 subscribers already and like 6 million views. It'll never be monetized. This is just for the real fans. This is even my channel. It's our channel. So take advantage. And emails Ozzy Osbourne tribute page at gmail.com for anyone that wants to good night, Angela, for anyone that wants to get in touch with me and Gina. And oops, sorry about that. Why isn't this touch screen though going down? Come on. I gotta what the fuck is wrong with this thing? All right. Sorry about that. I'm trying. See, these lives are tough, you know. If it was edited, watch, because I'm making an edited video tonight on the topic I was just talking about with clips in it and about the tapes. But anyway, email Ozzy Osbourne tribute page at gmail.com and you'll be able to get in touch though with me and Gene. And we will whatever you want to do, like if you have a video or if hypothetically, like you want to make something or talk about a certain thing, and then even if you wanted to like edit it up, I'm happy to do that for you. Or if you just want to throw it out there, I'll throw it out there for you. So this is everyone's page. Just like I sincerely mean that, and anyone could have access to it. That's why we have so many wrenches and so many invitations out for people that can have their own studio and jump right in though to it, and have control. And I love the community. And Victrola and Bonnie, thank you. We love your Sunday posts. They're great to look forward to every Sunday. And Victrola. And you know what I love? I'll say one last time. And then I'll say goodnight to everyone. And it's great meeting the new. It's great meeting Lisa, Angelo, and Miss Gen X tonight. Thank you for hopping in the chat. We appreciate you so much and hope to see you around. But forget what I was going to say before that, but I just wanted to say that before I was going to say the thing before that. But then by doing that, by saying the thing though that I wanted to say though after the thing I wanted to say before, I fucking forgot about the thing that I wanted to say after the thing I said before. So I'm like, fuck, sorry about that. But thank you though, definitely though for being here. And Silly, you're made. You got a wrench. I posted Facebook link for Madhouse vids. Enjoy. Nice. Where'd you put that, Pat? Oops. Good night, Linda. Have a great night. Grace, Silly Munch. You already know it. Good night on the calendar. Miss Gen X Music. Yankee fan. You rock already and an Ozzy fan. So I hope you're enjoying that weather out there in San Fran where it's like 7 degrees 0, freaking icicles off our balls. Night, Loomis, Gracie, Gen X, Gina, Pat, Angela. I just like to make sure I get to everyone who gives their time. I was so lucky to have uncles here at Sabbath for 3 years old. Ozzy was just a part of life. That's what I say today. I love all the albums, rocking, looking like, yeah, he was just that constant. He's just that part of life. That's something I was saying that today. Apps, you nailed it right there, Miss Gen X. You nailed it. The original Magic was the best, just like the original Magic with Blizzard. Exactly, Linda. Exactly. And maybe I'm thinking about for Bob's interview on. So I don't know if you know this. How I set up like lives and you could see like, oh, this channel is having a live at like 8:00, and you see the bell. You know what I'm talking about. I could do that with pre-record edited videos. It's just that, like, obviously the interview isn't live. The interview is being shown for the first time, but there's a live chat in that. They call it a premiere on here. And I might do that though for Bob's. It's long. I might even break that up into two. It's there's a lot of great parts in it. There's a lot of it gets interesting, but just stay tuned. And thank you all so much for being on. I had a blast tonight. I can't. Oh, Gina, look at I did it. Pat, remember I was saying like I'm like I can't fucking do a show. I don't know if Gen X is still listening or anyone new, Linda or anyone, but I did podcast stuff for like a long time or whatever. But for like the past few months, ever since what happened to my pop and stuff, I like I can't do a show. I couldn't get on or whatever. But I just realized that I actually did one. I mean, it probably sucked, but but hey, at least I got my rounds in, Gina. So yeah, you know what though? I thought, thank you, Gracie. I appreciate that. And did you use your phone tonight? No, I didn't. The reason why for that. I love to. How about that? Small World, Jersey Devil. Were you at the same Sabbath concert as me too? Is that you? Or no, that was someone else in the comment. In Homedale, New Jersey. But we were at the same game, I know. But wait, what the hell am I looking for? Here's my phone here. So this back part here that I had that came out like this or whatever, for some reason it just snapped off. So I mean I can always just put something right there and have it up though. But it's a lot easier. Like so when me and Gina are on, I can handle the excuse me, it's tougher. And because she doesn't have access to them, like on my other channel with Keith, like he has access to them, so it helps a lot though. So I got to figure out how to get Gina access to them. But when I'm just doing something like this on my own and showing clips or like showing what's to come and talking, but like tonight was like kind of like a topic show, and then we moved over to the Yankees at the end. But yeah, it's just easier, obviously, in that sense by yourself. But as easy as this does look, because I used to like watch people, I'd be like, oh, that's so easy. It's like not though, like when you don't have someone like a co-host or whatever to just constantly back stuff off. You know what I mean? Back and forth. And then you get like that uncomfortable silence and stuff. But after you do it for a while, you just don't give a fuck. And then you just roll in it. And you gotta have confidence and you don't put anyone on a pedestal. And I don't get on my knees for nobody and never will. I can't be bought. I will always speak my mind, the truth. This page will never ever be monetized. It's not a page to make money. It's a page to fucking celebrate the life of fucking Ozzy and the music that was created from the musicians though that were around him and Black Sabbath and the fans, and that's what this is all about. But it's also about you know, telling the truth and not just going along though with certain narratives because that's what I was supposed to know. And someone said something to me the other day that I'm not gonna go there. Sorry. And I don't mean to do a what do you call it? Hey, guess what? What? Never mind. I know. It makes you want to fucking slap me right in the fucking nose, and I deserve it right there, but not gonna go there. Whoa, we did it. Amen, Loomis. You know it, Gina. We do have an awesome community here. Look at Angela still in the house. Whoa, did it. What do you got for me, Miss Gen X? What do you mean? Oh, and anyone out there, anyone. And listen, Victrola, Gracie, you already have a wrench in here, like where you could handle comments, you could do your things. Don't ever feel obligated on those invites or whatever. It's just that that the offer was just there, like if you just ever wanted though to help out. So those invitations are pending in your thing email. And I know that people don't have time and stuff, but like Victrola, like if channels like have like they'll have like news or anniversary dates of albums or whatever, like if you did that, like and with your writing and like you put like a little symbol on there that looks like where like a rock feed or whatever the fuck with a writer like you, game over. Game over. It's the type of writer that Ozzy deserves. it's like family where we say goodbye so many times before we actually leave. Yeah, you know what this is, Angela? And you're exactly right. And Gracie will say it. Well, accept the invitation, Grace, by saying the email last week. Let me see. But with the family thing though, from Angela, we always say, me and Pat were saying this, and me and Gina say this. It's like we just, I don't know, like, I don't know where you're from. I don't know where you grew up, but where I'm from, we used to have like campfires and stuff like that out in the woods and stuff and leave the city and go up the mountain and just blast tunes and, just talk music. And like, that's what, like, this is without us, I guess, being in, obviously, but physically being in the room. But that's what these lives are about. There's obviously video, educational type videos and stuff like that will be made, but these lives are seriously not for the topic as much, they're more for the people. And that's what this channel is all about. And the community we have, everyone in it is so positive, so awesome. Pat comes on all the time. Me and Gina have a show every Wednesday. Victrola shares so much stuff because if you're subscribed and you hit the community, you could post whatever you want. And anybody is good. And don't feel like, should I post this? It's not my page. Remember, it's our page. Just keep that in mind, that I mean that. Why is my phone out? I forget. Anyway, I said goodbye 55,000 times. Happy I opened YouTube and I did and found you live. Very cool. I'll be back. Appreciate that, Miss Gen X. I think you'll love me and Gina's show too on Wednesdays. She's from out there, and she's out in the Cali lands as well. But we're on at 8:05 p.m. So the concrete episode of this channel that's live. Me and Pat still have to work out some details on the Ozzy Talk over the weekends, but we every week Wednesday at 8:05 p.m. Eastern that live drops. Other than that, the interviews I do, like with musicians and stuff, like like Bob Daisley's interview that I did, that will drop. Those will drop on like Saturday mornings, and or I might, if they're going to be premieres, I might drop them like at maybe a Wednesday night or something. Like actually, that might be better. And because then they still stay up though, because I'd like to be in the chat while others are watching what Bob's saying and just to see the reactions and stuff of everything. Yeah, that's going to be a premiere to this one that's coming up. You guys are going to love this. Learned a lot of new stuff. And thank you to Mr. Bob Daisley again for giving his time, and appreciate you, Bob. And Bob has a book out there called For Fact's Sake. That's on Amazon, and it's not even just about just Ozzy and Randy and everyone. It's he played with Gary Moore, Richie Blackmore. I mean you can't really fuck around with that. The Black Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? Dio. Just his resume's on absolutely insane. Well, everyone, thank you very much. Next time, Pat is like, why don't you come on with us sometime? And don't forget, if you don't want to show anyone don't want to show their faces, that's totally fine. And you'll see when you come in here, you can put an avatar right over and you just hear your voice. So and if you don't like your voice, then go buy one of those like I'm coming to kill your family ones or something. I don't know. We got to get some more people in here. All right. But anyway, thanks for being here. We'll end it though with tonight's episode was though about the lost tape, but hopefully one day we could hear the lost tapes, plural, from Mr. Bob Daisley, and you will see Mr. Bob Daisley on the show on Saturday. But before that, though, we have Loomis and Gina every Wednesday live at 8:05 p.m. Eastern. And this was completely random tonight because these Ozzy Talks are usually on Friday or Saturday night after 10 p.m. They just pop up at any time. So that's pretty much that. Did I miss anything? Didn't really talk about though what your guys' thoughts are though on what you think about Ozfesto possibly coming back. I'll save that for another one for an Ozzy talk. And that is it. So thank you all so much. I had a blast. Thank you to the newcomers. And there, Miss Gen X, thank you. Good night for real. Have a see you on Wednesday. Oh, hysterical. You're right. It is no family. And don't forget anyone. Ozzy Osbourne tribute page at gmail.com is the email. Love yous all. And thank you. And I will see you with Gina on Wednesday. Why the fuck isn't this going to the. Hold on. That's the thing with lives without editing. You look like an idiot. You know what I mean? Don't look too professional. On Jesus, I can't even get to the song. I like to end with a song. I'm cheesy. Where is it? Gina. No, I'm not Gina. What the fuck am I talking about? Hold on. Why does that look like that? 1 second. Doesn't make any sense. Sorry, folks. Wait. Because I can't even get to the live button. What the fuck is going on? Eastern, 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Every time when you see a number, if it says 1, 2, 4, 5, it's always going to be Eastern time zone, unless I'm like traveling or something like that. Because I always don't take this though wherever I go, and I like the one that I had to do though. Well, that was still like here, but not in the office, but from work during the day. For our trailer out in Pittston. I'm always on my laptop, so regardless, where is everything at? I can't find anything, and I apologize. Excuse me 1 second. What's going on? What happened? Like, there's literally nothing. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, folks, because this is absolutely madness. I can't get to the live button. That ends it. No. Down. Holy fuck. I mean, you guys can go. And ladies, I'm sorry. What the fuck is going on, man? Oh, wait, I should just put this here. Sorry. Come on. Where? Hold on. Scroll down. Scroll down. I had the mic off. Scroll down. What the fuck is going on, man? Oh, I know what to do. I got it. I got this shit. I got it.
realised that fucking black magic was real.
Right.
No, we took this to fucking Hollywood.
Yeah,
Making money.
People thought you were like into black magic. And
We started
evil.
getting invites to fucking midnight at the cemetery with black magic. What the fuck's this?
Found by this man, who met the heavy metal pioneer early in 1980. This was a few months after the singer had been fired from Black Sabbath, and he spent a few weeks rehearsing in Suffolk to try out something new.
I've got a tape somewhere, and my wife says, not in the house, I've searched everywhere. She said, I bet you I know where it is. It's in your workshop, in the attic, and there it was. I found it in this briefcase.
And you were sort of nervous about trying it?
Because as you can see, it's one of those, and if they do feel up to sometimes, and I haven't got a machine like this one, and I daren't play it, to be honest with you.
Taking a toll, it was a long shot.
See, that's him. That's him. Very bluesy.
So, not a lost master tape. Instead, a recording that captures a more relaxed time behind the scenes. This is Ozzy with the late Randy Rhoads and Bob Daisley, a make or break point in his career. They went on to recruit drummer Lee Kerslake and released the first album, Blizzard of Oz.
Well, as soon as I heard it, I thought, well, yes, that's us, and that's Ozzy's voice. I don't know what drummer that would have been on that tape, but it's definitely me and Randy and Ozzy. We knew straight away. As soon as we played together, we said, yep, it clicked, and we knew that it was going to work.
Experts say the tape is significant not so much for the music, but for what it represents.
It's an incredible artifact, I think. So, it's not a fully formed song. It's not a last master tape. It's not from the vault that's going to be, sold commercially for millions. But it captures a really significant moment in Ozzy Osbourne's life.
There was a common saying, oh, you're off the rails, or you're going off the rails, or whatever. So I thought, well, if, you're going off the rails on a crazy train. So that's how that came about. And we began rehearsing it. I've got tapes of us writing that and putting it together. And there's one funny one where Ozzy at the beginning of it, where he says, I'd written the lyrics by then, or at least some of them.
Yeah.
And he, at the beginning of the song, Ozzy says, all aboard, that part. But in this tape that I've got in our rehearsal, you can hear him say, all aboard, you cunt.
Oh, man, what I do for that version. Oh, that's great.